Hi and welcome to Orbit. If you are in the market for a folding phone, your only real choice is Samsung. But now there is Honor and they are setting everything on one table with a cheaper price and more tech. I reviewed this phone for a while and here are my thoughts. A name that sounds like a joke. Magic versus 5G. Who will win, Magic or 5G? Well, I don't know. That aside, I have to admit that I really don't like the design either. The camera element is uninspired and on top of that, it looks like the glass would break easily when it fell to the ground. The clever asymmetrical design of the Huawei Mate X2 was unfortunately not adopted. Apart from that, the Honor Magic VS is rock solid. When closed, it is noticeably thinner than a Samsung Fold 4 and the weight is only a few grams higher than it, although Honor has way more technology inside. The device is almost square when open, which caused an unexpected problem. The power button is relatively long and it contains a fingerprint sensor, a good one I might add. And the volume rocker is also longish. That is why I often confuse the two. What Honor clearly manages better than the competition is the front. It looks almost normal. Thin symmetrical bezels around the 6.5-inch display and a very narrow hinge on the left. The aspect ratio of 21:9 is a bit longer than usual but also a bit narrower. You can type pretty normally on the keyboard, swipe through shorts and do whatever you do. I would say 80% of the time it feels normal. What is a bit irritating is the thickness and the weight of the device. However, this changes if you open the Honor Magic VS. For an almost 8-inch tablet, it is really slim, light, and because the screen does not bend but curve unlike Samsung, you can hardly see or feel anything in the center. Only in harsh sunlight the bump reflects unevenly. But we've reached a point that it feels so little like a compromise that you quickly forget about it. This not only makes you feel more productive, you actually are. I was able to write much of this review on the Honor Magic VS, which I would have never done on a regular smartphone. The only shame is that you can't really put the design down in a semi-folded position. It eventually opens or closes by itself. And because of that you lose some advantages, like putting the device down to watch a video or take photos or put it down for video calls. The foldable display can get a maximum of 800 nits brightness. That is okay, but the Samsung Fold 4 will be significantly brighter and Honor only has 90 Hz. The difference to 120 Hz will certainly not be noticed by everyone, but is a bit of a shame. In return, the resolution is a bit higher than Samsung's. The display on the outside gets 1200 nits bright and has 120 Hz. But the trend of somewhat dusty hardware goes even further. The processor is not the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 but the 8 Plus Gen 1 and the memory is UFS 3.1 instead of 4.0, but it's 512 GB frankly. I think you won't notice a difference between the processors in everyday use anyway. Both of them are crazy fast, both very energy efficient and cool. Sure, more is more, but in this case it is okay. The much bigger elephant in the room is the software. And Honor has an interface similar to the one of Huawei. Visually, it's far away from pure Android and rather a slightly less pretty iOS. I'm not the biggest fan of the design and how some things look and work, but more important is the features, because a folding phone has two screens and it's really important how well they work together. Android 13L normally has an active dock at the bottom so you can quickly switch between apps. Honor does not have it and so multitasking feels slow. Also the outer and the inner display are treated the same. You cannot set up different home screens like in Samsung and there is no app drawer. However, using two apps next to each other is great, although the loading times are a bit too long. Some apps are optimized for the large screen, like WhatsApp or Gmail, websites, and the whole browser feels like a full tablet. Other apps, however, are buggy, such as Instagram or TikTok. Folding phones exist for about 5 years now, so in that meantime, I think the apps should be better optimized, but they are clearly not, so that's quite sad to see. but the battery life actually is really well optimized. There's a 5000 mAh battery inside of here and it lasts for easily 1 day and sometimes even 2. I achieved 5.5 to 7 hours of mixed use. That is better than the Samsung Fold 4. Charging takes about 45 minutes from 0 to 100% with the 66 watt power supply. Wireless charging is not available. The Honor Magic VS has 3 cameras, a large 54 megapixel main sensor, a 50 megapixel ultra-wide angle and an 8 megapixel 3x zoom. Spoiled by the Honor Magic 5 Pro, I was hoping for great photos. And indeed, the results can look vibrant and colorful, but they are also over-sharpened and sometimes blurry. The 3x zoom stood out negatively because the sharpness and contrast are way lower than the other 2 lenses. The ultra-wide angle loses detail quickly when it gets dark. The lawn here is basically just a blurry area. Most of the time, you want to use the main camera, which can keep up with the Samsung Fold 4. Videos are possible in 4K and 60 FPS at most. The selfies look good and even better if you use the main camera to take them. Conclusion. This phone costs 1,600 euros and that is cheaper than other folding phones, but it's not exactly cheap. So the Samsung Fold 4 is right now at 1,300 euros. So it is cheaper, but it has the worst battery life and of course a little bit less storage. But on the other hand, the software is better optimized, it does have the more compact form factor and also it has the S Pen. I think you should wait if you want to buy a folding phone, because soon there will be the Pixel Fold and the Samsung Fold 5 and so the prices will come down and there's more competition, and that's the best thing about the Honor Magic VS, that there is now a new competition in town and that helps us all a lot. Thank you for watching this video, I see you in the next one. Bye.